Scottejaye uploaded a video talking about how many people are playing SoD, how popular Season of Discovery is. I think we're going to be talking about the new ironforge.pro information. So as of like probably 5 days ago, ironforge.pro, which has historically been tracking Classic WoW, Warcraft logs, player participation, how many people are playing the game, roughly. This website has started tracking Season of Discovery information, analytics. And so I think that's what we're talking about. The website is not loading right now. Let's play the video.
For many people, just how big the M is in an MMO is incredibly important. Man,
it is
that
important.
Was a stupid way of just saying how many people are playing, as in massive. How massive it? Oh, you get it. Well, we've actually got some numbers
how
now.
Massive
and I thought
is
it'd
it?
be quite interesting just to dive in and actually have a look and see what those numbers mean. But if you're currently playing Wrath of the Lich King, you've probably already noticed quite a decline in the amount of active people. And I've actually heard from tons of people that this is the sole reason for their Wrath guilds falling apart. Season
Wrath
of
is
Discovery.
Dead.
So if you've ever used ironforge.pro before, they've actually updated now, so they've got a classic Season of Discovery section as well. Now, what this actually does is it shows you active characters according to raids uploaded to Warcraft logs and characters on PvP leaderboards.
Okay.
So it's important to understand this is not the amount of accounts there are or the amount of characters that have been created. There'll be people on Wrath of the Lich King and Season of Discovery that never step foot in PvP and maybe don't even step foot in raids. Or even if they do step foot in raids, they might not be being logged. So if it was a 25-man raid, those 25 people straight away wouldn't be counted into these numbers. On the other hand, if you've got someone who raids 5 times a week on Wrath of the Lich King on 5 different characters, they're going to be shown on here 5 times. So you do have to take it with a pinch of salt a little bit, but it does show you the state.
Okay, here's a really good question. Do you think on average, how can I explain this? Is the average Wrath player raiding in Wrath on more characters each week than the average SOD is raiding on? So, like, let's say the average SOD player is raiding on 2 characters. Is the average Wrath player raiding on 3 or 4 or 5 characters? How does that shake out? How many characters per person per different version of WoW? Hell no, I don't know. I have no idea. I would imagine you can make an argument going either way, right? Because it's very easy to start raiding in Classic SOD. It's very easy to pug the raid. It's like probably 25 or 30 hours of game time to get to max level to the point where you can raid because the level cap is level 25. But Wrath has been out now for a year and a half. There's a level 70 boost. People have armies of alts. People have a lot of max level characters. So I don't know. It could go either way. I really don't know. I would probably lean into more people raiding on more characters in Classic SOD right now, though, just because it's kind of new. Didn't Blizz release a statistic for how many people cleared BFD and it was like 1%? Oh yeah, no, they had a video 2 weeks ago, Super Tease or something, talking about, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm going to try to find that video after this video here.
Play. The data reset, 64, from the 20th of December to the 26th of December, there was around 201,000 people that was playing actively on Wrath of the Lich King servers.
Okay, by the way, 201,000 characters registering on Warcraft logs per week. This is not 201,000 people. It's 201,000 characters. So let's say I'll give you easy math. Let's say there were 100,000 players and each of them was raiding on 2 characters. That would equal 200,000, right? Okay.
And again, when I say actively playing, that just means how many.
And by the way, we all know people that raid every week in Classic Wrath on 5 characters. There are people, they do GDKPs on 10 characters. Who knows? So it's really hard to determine how many individual people there are.
People were actively logging on Warcraft logs and how many people was appearing on the PvP leaderboards. Now let's have a look at Season of Discovery. So Season of Discovery had 374,000. Not quite double, but a really, really big number. Now this was from the 27th of December to the 2nd of January. So this was actually after Christmas. So I would actually expect more people to be playing in this period than the period that we was looking at for Wrath, because this actually went all the way up to Boxing Day. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be minor between the two, but this does show a really, really clear picture. Not only is faction balance actually really good across the board.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yep. On all of the PvP servers, faction balance is pretty good. And then you get down to the first PvE server right here, Wild Growth, faction balance, who cares? No one cares.
This goes for PvE servers as well, which surprised me the most. We know PvP has got forced faction balance, but when you look at these PvE servers, yes, they are a little bit worse in terms of like looking at Wild Growth being 66-33, but there's still not a server where it's completely dominated as a PvE server by one faction, like it is on most big servers when you look at Wrath. So that's actually quite good news. Now, when you're looking at these numbers and you're instantly like, oh my god, Wrath of the Lich King's dead. Look, Season of Discovery is like much, much busier and there's more people. I feel like it's quite self-evident that there's more people on Season of Discovery. As in, you just walk around the towns, cities and everything, and it is just booming. There's people everywhere. Whereas Wrath is a bit more of a graveyard. I don't want to say graveyard, but people are still logging on and raiding. Now, when we look at Season...
Logging into Wrath is depressing. You log into Dalaran, it's just a bunch of people AFK. I mean, it's not a... It's like... It's a little bit of people AFK. No one's really moving. There's not a lot of movement. You know, they're just logging in to do their raid once a week, if that. I don't know. It's Wrath just it does feel depressing. It feels depressing to log into Wrath. It feels depressing to run around Dalaran right now. Yes.
In the Discovery, this little line here is incredibly important because it says characters raiding at least once from the 27th of December to the 2nd of January. Now, what this would actually say to me is it will only count one person. And what I mean by that is I looked here and was like, well, of course it's going to have double the amount of players raiding, bare minimum, not only because it's really good and people are enjoying it, but you can do twice as many raids a week because BFD is only on a 3-day reset. But because it says characters raiding at least once from the 27th to the 2nd, I feel like that actually will only count it once. So if you've done 2 lockouts in that time, it wouldn't actually say 2, it would just be 1. So it's actually looking at the amount of characters that have raided in that time by character name, but not physically the amount of times that they did raid. I hope that makes sense.
True.
I could be interpreting that wrong, and it could actually genuinely be looking at someone, and if they happen to have been able to raid twice in that reset, then it is showing them twice. It's worded uniquely there because on Wrath, it doesn't actually say that at all. So I feel like that is so it's not completely skewed because you can raid twice every week. But like I said, it does paint a very clear picture. All of the servers are looking very healthy. Maybe not Penance and Lava Lash. They're looking a little bit dire. But now part of this will be because it's so accessible. It's very easy to get to 25. It'll take you a few days if you're playing casually. And then you'll be able to jump into a raid almost instantly. So,
dude, if Blizzard shut down 10-man premades and GDKPs in SOD, SOD would really shine. Like those, you guys can be mad about it. You can disagree. This is my opinion, of course. I can do a good job explaining it to you if you want. If 10-man premades really GDKPs, if GDKPs are allowed to rot out this game over the course of the next 12 months, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
There'll be many people that are raiding on 4 or 5 characters, maybe even more, and doing that twice a week. Because, let's face it, the raid takes, let's say, 30 minutes-ish, probably for your average pug. So if it was taking all of those characters into account and doubling it because of the amount of resets you can do in a week, I feel like that number would be a hell of a lot higher. And that's just from first-hand experience of what I'm seeing when I'm online and how busy everything is. And then obviously the sheer amount of layers there are on pretty much every server as well. Now, overall, I don't think this will come as any surprise, but if you want to go and check it out, as I say, the website's iamforge.pro, and you can have a look at these numbers yourself. I will be monitoring these as the weeks go on because I've been looking at the actual statistics. You get some nice graphs. Actually, I'll show you. When you actually click on any of these, it does expand into one of these charts. You can look at EU, you can look at US.
This is Classic Wrath. This is the current state of Classic Wrath. And if you want more information on this, we actually broke this down the other day. You can overlay. So this is when the various raids have come out. Vanilla, TBC, Wrath on the right. You can see the immense drop off as a result of ICC. ICC has seriously. ICC has been the biggest flop of a raid that Classic WoW has ever had. More people have been exiting this game as a result of ICC than any raid here before. Wrath is Wrath has lost half of its active raiders in the last 6 weeks. It's bad. It's wild.
As individuals or all together. And you can see this massive steep drop-off that Wrath of the Lich King's had over the last several weeks. And I feel like the longer Season of Discovery runs and the quicker each phase comes out, this number could just keep declining. But when you only go back as far as the first week of November, when there was 411,000 people raiding, and then you look at this last week, it's halved. being only 200,000 now. I think there's more to think about than just, oh, it's Season of Discovery. Icecrown Citadel's been out for quite a while now. The buff's rolling out. I believe it goes up to 20% next week. I've not really been doing a great deal on Wrath myself. Don't flame me in the comments because I've not even checked. Because we've seen these massive drop-offs before. Looking back here, this is probably during Alduar. You can see a weekly decline to the point where new content came out, which this would probably be TOGC around June.
That's what it is.
Probably sounds about right. And then it starts to pick up again. Icecrown Citadel's meant to be the best raid of Wrath of the Lich King, and it's currently at an all-time low. Lower than TOGC.
ICC is a bad raid. It's a very annoying raid. Like, really? I had a huge amount of nostalgia for ICC. I thought it was going to be awesome. It's just a really annoying raid. It's a very annoying raid.
Ever got to. Now, part of the reason could be, again, because TOGC was extremely short, so people could do mass amounts of raids on 6 or 7 characters because it didn't take long. But yeah, it's still slightly...
L take? Well, bro, I know that my take about ICC is in the majority because over half of the people raiding Wrath have quit in the last 6 weeks. I don't have a minority take here. ICC has done bad. People are not enjoying ICC.
Concerning when you're then looking at 375,000 nearly at a really weird time as well, you know, being between Christmas and New Year. People will be on holiday, spending time with family, so you would expect the activity to be low. So, I mean, that number, again, if it is actual individual characters in that week that raided once, that's pretty crazy. That's about it. Just in case you ain't seen it, I thought I'd show you and have a look, and we'll maybe monitor this as we go on. When I do the weekly news roundup videos like the one I put out earlier on, quick plug, you might as well go and check that video out. I think I only put it on about 2 hours ago. I'll make sure I include this as well so we can see how the servers progress over time. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Awesome. There you have it. Let me link that video. Good video. Great video. Yeah, here's my take on ICC. I think there are probably like 3 bosses that are just prohibitively annoying. Mechanically they are not fun encounters. Maybe 4 bosses that are just annoying to the point of being unfun. But also, I want to try to get this right. ICC is not too hard. It's not too difficult, but it's okay. ICC is not too difficult to complete. It is too difficult to give a fuck about completing. That's the best way for me to. That's my take. It is too difficult for me to have fun doing and care about doing. Okay, it's not too difficult to do. It's not like I'm like, oh man, I just can't do this. It's too hard. It's just. It's not fun. It is too hard to be fun. And let's be serious. None of us are playing Classic WoW because we want hard, mechanically challenging raids. If you wanted hard, mechanically challenging raids, you'd probably just go play retail or some other different MMO. The reason why people play Classic WoW historically has been sort of the low-key social dynamic, the social experience that you get within the raids, right? And every time I open up an ICC stream or I've done ICC myself, I'm watching other people do ICC, I feel like everyone is just on edge. I feel like everyone is tense. People are bitching, they're whining. People are just and that's what I've seen on Twitch. That's what I see on Twitch, and that's what I've seen in raids that I've been in. I've been in a bunch of ICC raids. I feel like people are just uptight, and I feel like when raids are uptight and people are tense and people are on edge and people quit. It really seems like generally the easier the raid, the more fun people have. That seems to be the case with Classic WoW. Classic WoW peaked in a Nixie Molten Core Blackwing layer. The first half of Classic WoW was the peak. You can say the best, the number 1 phase of Classic Wrath was Nax Rammus 25, and then it's been a drop off from there.